Hello YouTube, this is NatanisLikens coming back at you with another portion of our mini-series about Back for Blood. Now in the previous beginner's guide, we actually made the comment that Back for Blood is more akin to the Borderland series than it is the Left 4 Dead series or Call of Duty Zombies. And I figured we're going to start breaking it down, going into a little bit more detail on what I meant by that. And first and foremost, if you look in the bottom left corner, you will see that I am currently Evangelo. And what we are going to do here today is go through each one of the characters, tell you about their abilities, their stat that they come with, and then their team stat that they come with. And we're just going to do it in no order. We're just going to go right down the line. And we're starting off with Evangelo. So first, let's just go over here to Evangelo. Now, I will say on this screen, it used to show what their sidearm is and what their primary weapon is. For some reason, they've removed the primary weapon. I don't know why. But yeah, let's get into it. So Evangelo, first off, his ability. He comes with the Breakout ability, which is absolutely amazing. Breakout is one of those cards that I really feel like it should be in every deck. If you don't have it, that means you're probably relying on your team to get you out of sticky situations. It's not one of those that I would say you're going to lose if you don't have it in your deck, but I do see it as a very important card and something you probably should run in every deck. But Evangelo comes with it, so you don't even have to grab it. Then we've got his actual stat. He has increased stamina regen by 25%. Now, this is great for Evangelo. It makes him really good at being a melee user and also being a bow user. And that is primarily what you should probably be playing Evangelo as, is one of those two. Now, he can do move-based decks, wherein that you have a high mobility, but considering there's very few cards for that, it's not that big of a deal. And I do see a lot of people preferring Holly over Evangelo because that stamina regen with the right cards it basically means nothing. For me, though, I kind of prefer him because when you do have those particular points in the game where you have to run from point A to point B, you know, he's going to have stamina regen a lot quicker so that he can complete that. And then his team-based ability is he gives the entire team 5% increased move speed. Again, move speed is very important, and the ability to move around and dodge mutations hits is very important. So that is quite nice. So next we're going to move on. Oh, yeah, his weapons. So you can see that he starts with machete, and this is if you are coming into a game and nobody has played him, he's going to have a machete. He's going to have a machete as his secondary, as his sidearm, and he is going to have an Uzi as his primary weapon. So that is his setup, and then we can go on over here and go on to the next character, which is Walker. And we'll start off, being that we're right here, we'll start off with his weapons and hopefully keep that format. So he starts off with a Glock. And I always forget which one this is. This is the M4 carbine, which is pretty handy. This is my preferred assault rifle. This is the one that I use primarily all the time. I do occasionally use the SCAR, but yeah, let's not get into that. Anyway, let's go over here and look at his abilities. Okay, so first and foremost, his ability, mutations that Walker pings. In other words, if I ping an item like this, so if I wish there was something I could actually target out here. Doesn't look like there is. But yeah, if I ping that target, go back into here, they did that particular mutation that I have pinged will deal 10% reduced damage, which in the long run is not that great, but it's also very important that you ping mutations so that people know where they're at. They can turn around and quickly spot them. Um, for most characters, this is going to last approximately 30 seconds to a minute, unless you are Carly. Carly is a whole nother animal when it comes to that. We'll get to that eventually. And then his base stat is he gets an extra 10% damage. So having him as a range-based deck, either assault rifles, sniper rifles, shotguns, anything, he's going to have an extra 10% damage. Again, you really want to use him as a range damage dealer and not a melee damage dealer. Just kind of based on that, like his stats don't really go very well for being up front and in melee range. They're much better at being further away from an enemy. And then his team effect is he gives the team plus 10 health. 10 health is not really that much, especially when you get into the higher difficulties, because typically the enemies are going to be doing much more than 10 health to you. But it is going to give you a slight buffer. Just keep that in mind. Now on to the next one, and I keep hitting the wrong buttons. We have Holly. And as you can see, Holly starts off with a bat and a shotgun. I don't have all these weapons memorized. I have to come over here and find the exact one. So she comes with an 870 Express shotgun. That is her starter gear. And that is, again, when you pick a character for the first time and nobody has touched that character before, these are the weapons that you are most likely going to have, or should have. Now, as far as her abilities, she is more of a melee build. So Holly heals 1 health when she kills a Ridden. So she's already got an inborn healing ability from killing just plain Ridden. She also comes with an extra 25 stamina, which it's 25 stamina. It's not really that much. This is why people mostly prefer Holly as their melee dealer, because she has extra stamina. Again, I much prefer the stamina regen as opposed to just having extra stamina. And then her team base effect is team damage resistance, and they get plus 5%. Again, 5%, not very big, not that high. That's going to be the difference in like maybe a couple of points of damage. It's still going to be damage regardless. So yeah, there's that. Again, she is what everybody considers to be the main melee character in the game, with a close second being Charisse. We'll get to her in a minute. Yeah, that is Holly. And then let's do the right order and switch over to Mom. Okay, so as you can see, Mom comes with the Belgian shotgun and a ranch rifle. These are her starting gear items. So again, when you pick this character on a match that nobody has used, these are the weapons that you should have. And as far as her abilities, so Mom heals her team for 25 temporary health when a teammate is incapacitated. Okay, this is both good and bad. Temporary health is just that. It is temporary. You do not keep it. It will fade eventually. And 25 of it is, again, not really that much. Not very important. So +1 support inventory. This is very useful. That means she can carry extra bandages, extra pain meds, and extra med kits right off the bat. She gets to hold 2 of those as opposed to just 1 right off the bat. No cards, no extra abilities, no team equipment slots bought, nothing. So she gets an extra 2 support items. And then her team effect, 100% revive speed, 20% slower team temp health decay. Again, temporary health does decay over time, and this means that it is going to decay 20% slower. Again, temporary health, not that big of a deal, and the team revive speed is invaluable. Like getting somebody up in a fraction of the time that it would take you normally is absolutely amazing. Mom is one of those that I would consider either you run her as a DPS or you run her as a healer type. Uh, that mostly because she gets that extra support slot, which means with the right cards, she can start off the game with like 5 inventory slots. Uh, Not a huge deal considering that early in the game you're not going to be having that many support items, but it is nice to know that, you know, you've got extra. Yeah, and that's Mom, and that is one of the skins for her that I have right there. We're not going to talk about skins, we're just talking about the characters in general. Next up is Doc. And as you can see with her setup, she comes with a Beretta and an MP4? MP5 submachine gun. Not my favorite submachine gun. Actually, my favorite one is not even technically a primary weapon. It's actually a sidearm, and that is the Tech 9. But anyway, that's getting off subject. But yeah, these are her weapons. That's what she typically comes with. As far as her abilities, okay, so Doc can heal each team member 25 health once per level. This is without any support items. This is just something she can do. She can heal them once. Each team member once per match. So if you've got no support items, she can heal each one of them at least once throughout that map. This does apply healing efficiency, so it does get stronger. She comes with plus 15 healing efficiency, so again, really Doc should run a healing deck, some type of support healing deck. That's it. I cannot tell you the amount of times I've seen this character run as DPS. You really shouldn't. You need to focus her on having the ability to heal up her teammates because she's already got this 15% healing efficiency. And then her team effect is 20% team trauma resistance. This right here is probably the most valuable team effect amongst all of them because trauma is a huge problem in higher levels of difficulty. If you are a newbie trying to play at a higher difficulty level, please don't. Go through recruit, unlock all the cards, and learn the maps. I cannot stress that to you enough because trauma becomes a huge deal, especially in Nightmare, let alone No Hope. I can't even imagine. I haven't made it to No Hope yet. I'm actually on the last 2 acts before I actually cleared Nightmare. But anyway, that is Doc. Again, please run her as a healing deck. Nothing else. Don't run her as a DPS or anything else. Moving on from her, next we have Hoffman. And Hoffman is one of those characters where I feel like you need a Hoffman on your team, especially if your team is suffering from ammo. And I can't even begin to tell you the amount of times I've been on teams where they have ammo problems and nobody is really either conserving ammo or making sure that you're not fighting too often. The biggest thing on ammo is if you're triggering all the hordes, please don't trigger them just to trigger them because you will run out of ammo, and if somebody's not running ammo scavenger, you're going to have problems. And I have been in matches where my team was basically out of ammo. Luckily, with my Doc build, I have infinite pistol ammo. Not a huge deal, but please consider how much ammo you are using up. And the reason I say that with Hoffman, we'll get to that in a second. Let me go over his weapons first. He starts off with the M1911, and yes, I do have the sounds turned off, by the way. So this is a very good handgun. Not my favorite, but it is one of the stronger ones next to the Deagle, but the Deagle's a little bit slower on its reload. And then he comes with the TAC... where is it? TAC 14. This is actually the shotgun that I hate the most. But yeah, this is his setup. This is what he's going to come with if you have to choose him. Now let's get into his abilities and why I really think a Hoffman needs to be on a lot of teams. First and foremost is his main ability. Hoffman has a chance to find ammo or an offensive accessory whenever he kills a Ridden. So if he kills something, there's a good chance that some form of ammo or a weapon accessory, such as a grenade or a pipe bomb, is going to drop, regardless. So he is by far the best character if you're having ammo issues. Um, he also comes with +1 offensive inventory, so he can, at the start of the game, carry 2 grenades or 2 pipe bombs right away. His team effect, 15% max ammo carrying capacity for the team. That is quite a bit, actually. When you start breaking down the ammo and how much you go through, having an extra 15% ammo is amazing. Um, Hands down, his abilities are probably the most well-rounded of all of them. He gives his team extra ammo carrying capacity, and he also produces ammo to an extent. You have no control over what that ammo is. It could be pistol, it could be rifle, it could be shotgun, it could be sniper. But it's going to generate regardless, so it is going to produce ammo for your team, especially if you're a really good shot playing a sniper build on Hoffman. So next up on our journey is Jim. And Jim's another really good one. He starts off with a Magnum, and I do believe this is a Phoenix sniper rifle. Yes, it is a Phoenix 350L, and probably one of the better sniper rifles in the game. I actually do kind of prefer this one or the M1A. Uh, the thing with the Beretta is it does have to reload after every single shot, so there is a little bit of a delay there. The Phoenix does as well, but it's not nearly as slow, and generally speaking, it has a much better accuracy and handling. So yeah, as you can see right here, handling goes down by 15%, and what that really means is how well it goes back to where you're aiming. You can see here that that's not too bad. So the recoil is fairly decent with the Phoenix. But yeah, that's his starting gear. Let's go over his abilities. So his primary ability is precision kills grant Jim 2.5 stacking damage until he takes damage. And this is per map. So every time he manages to get a precision kill, such as a headshot, he's going to get more and more damage as he goes, so long as he does not get hit. This can stack really, really, really high, especially if you pick a sniper build with him and just let him do his job as a sniper. In other words, let him take out all the trash mobs that are gathered in areas before you go in there and start shooting up the place. So his damage can increase dramatically so long as you let him do his thing. 25% reload speed. Again, with how slow snipers reload, that is invaluable. So he is absolutely amazing when it comes to sniping. 10%, then his team effect is 10% weak spot damage. Now, this is one of those things that is very important for fighting any of the mutations and the 3 bosses. I originally said there were 2 bosses, there's actually 3. I forgot one, technically. She's not, that particular mutation is not counted as a boss, but when you have to deal with it, it does act like a boss because it takes a lot of bullets to kill it, and that is the Hag. Anyway, so the weak spot damage, highly important, very good. Again, another very well composed character because this Jim is probably one of the better damage dealers in the game and really should be run as a ranged DPS. Personally, I'd say sniper builds for him, but it really just depends on how you feel like playing. Again, not a character I should say you not a character I would say you need to run a melee build on. This Jim pretty much needs to be a ranged DPS. and that's it. Moving on from him, if I can hit the right buttons again, we have Carly. Carly's a little bit of an oddball. She starts off with the Tech 9 and an AK-47. Again, these are her starting weapons, and that is pretty much what you should end up with. Again, that is if nobody has touched the character previously and just gone through and grabbed whatever weapons they like. As far as her abilities, so her primary ability is she can sense nearby hazards and mutations. So, like tall boys, exploders, stalkers, and the worms. She can sense them through the walls, along with sleepers. And this is permanent. It's not a set time. There is a range on it, and I'm not really sure what the range is. It doesn't say here, but she can sense all those types of hazards through walls. This also includes birds through walls and security doors. Quite nice. She comes with a +1 quick inventory slot, so that means she can carry multiple uh, barbed wire, bear traps, toolkits, and defibrillators at the beginning of the game without anything else. Then she comes with the team effect of 50% team use speed. Team use speed is very, very important. And much like Hoffman, I really feel like Carly should be on every team. Because the use speed is just, there's so many times within the game that you need somebody to interact with something, and the quicker they interact with it, the better. And she's pretty much pre-built for that. So typically, the deck I have for her is got the primary focus of team use speed, or sorry, use speed. Um, that is pretty much, like I said, to interact with the world items that require you to spend time on working with them in order to use them. And this is things like opening supply crates, opening weapon crates, opening ammo crates, interacting with world things such as doors, uh, interacting with other world things such as the howitzer, and various little bits like that. She just does it naturally faster, simply because of that team effects. So yeah, she's one that I really suggest having on a team at all times, especially if you have the corruption card for sleepers, because she'll be able to see the sleepers long before you will, especially if she's paying attention. And she can even mark them out, let you know, hey, there's a sleeper right around that corner. Take it out before it catches you and you summon a horde. Very invaluable character. Like, she definitely needs to be on every team. Okay, and moving on from Carly, we get into some of the newer characters that I haven't spent that much time playing. Tala, I have spent quite a bit of time playing because I've been trying to learn how to use a bow successfully in this, and I have mixed results on that, but we'll get to that in a minute. So first up, we have Heng, or Hing, and he starts off with a hatchet and an assault rifle, the RPK. Um, I don't really, or sorry, light machine gun. I don't really use machine guns, so I can't really say if that's a good thing or not. And of the melee weapons, the hatchet is one of my least favorites, followed quickly by the fire axe. This is because the hatchet has a low damage. It has low damage. The stamina used for it is not quite as bad as, say, the fire axe. See, as you can see here, we'll let it charge all the way up. We're taking about 2 swings per stamina bar that we have there, whereas the fire axe, it's taking up 1 full stamina bar. So these two I'm not really fond of. As far as how much stamina they use, it's really not that important technically, depending on what character you're playing as. Um, but I will say that the fire axe has the most damage. The hatchet has what I thought was the lowest damage. Apparently, it's one of the higher ones. They changed that. Anyway, the machete is a lot faster as far as how much stamina it uses, and then the baseball bat is about the same. And then we have the new one, the Iron Claws. It's a little bit faster than the hatchet the machete or the bat. But yeah, we're getting way off topic here. We're not talking about weapons. We're talking about the characters. Let me apologize for that. So Hang is probably one of the bigger oddbods amongst them. I don't think his abilities are bad, but I don't think they're that good. So Hang restores an additional 1 trauma when consuming food and gains the effect of food consumed by others. So basically, if he eats leftovers, he'll heal trauma. If somebody eats leftovers, he gets health. Okay, and then he has plus food spawns. So there's going to be extra leftovers on the maps. And then his team effect, +1 health and stamina for each food consumed. So really, this guy should probably run a scavenger deck. This is the best that I've been able to think. I have seen somebody play a melee deck with him, and it was actually kind of funny to watch this old man run around with a melee deck. But yeah, he'd probably do good with the food scavenger card to increase the amount of leftovers on the map even further. And his team effect is just absolutely insane. Actually, I had a match the other day where we had so many leftovers on the map that my health pool was actually over 300, which was just ridiculous. Like I've never seen that much health on any character. It was insane. So his abilities are quite interesting. Healing trauma from food is pretty nice, but he only heals 1 trauma per food item found. And then gaining the health back of any food consumed by other players is also nice. But without the extra scavenger card for increasing the food spawns even more, it really does feel lacking while also feeling overpowered because of his team effect. Um, yeah, he's an oddbot. I'm not really sure where to rate him as far as characters. Um, I will say that most likely you should use him as probably a DPS on the back lines because you really want to protect him for that team effect. And then the other possibility is run a healer deck on him because with increased food spawns on the map, not only are you supplying healing for your team, but they're going to be able to heal by just finding food. So he's a bit of an oddbot. I'm not really sure where to put him at as far as abilities and everything. And then next up, we have Charisse. So Charisse comes with a fire axe and a UMP 45. That is her setup. That is pretty much what you should be walking into with a character that has not been used yet. As far as her team abilities, or as far as her abilities, armor pieces that armor pieces shot off ridden have a chance to become makeshift armor. Okay, so there is a corruption card that gives the various types of mutations and just plain ridden armor. And anytime that armor gets knocked off by her or the other team members, it gets turned into makeshift armor. Um, there is no way to increase that. It is completely and utterly random. You never know when it's actually going to happen, but having her on the team pretty much means it's going to happen. There is no other way to get makeshift armor at all. Like, that's really the only way in a match to get makeshift armor. You can buy it at the start of a match, but when you're actually playing it, there really is no way to get it. There are no scavenger cards for it, nothing. There is a corruption card that does mean it is more likely to spawn. And the reason for that is because the actual corruption slows you down. And I believe that card is called Avarice. So it what it does is it spawns a whole lot of copper throughout the map. And for every 100 copper you are carrying, it slows you down. Uh, Now, alongside that, because you are slowed down, it does spawn even more, or it does spawn makeshift armor alongside that. So, really, outside of the supply, outside of the supply chest at the beginning of a stage, she is the only way to get makeshift armor. Okay, moving on. So her base ability is 25% trauma resistance, absolutely invaluable. Again, trauma resistance is really important later on when you get into higher difficulties such as Nightmare and No Hope. Her team effect, team bolstered health. Okay, I've been trying to figure out what exactly this means. And from what I gather, she gives them extra blue health. And blue health is effectively temporary health. So if you manage to heal up all the way to that, you've got extra temporary health that is not part of that actual character or your deck. And this seems to stay there permanently as long as she's on the team. Whether or not you have access to it just depends on how much health you have at any given moment. Uh, I really don't know what to say about her abilities other than she is probably my third. Most people think she's like the first or second. They bounce between Holly, but she's actually my third choice for melee uh, decks, melee builds. Um, she's, I mean, honestly, it's just not that big of a deal, any of this, because, like I said, the makeshift armor, you can only get that at the beginning of each level. With her being able to produce it throughout the level, it's kind of a good thing, bad thing, because if you're needing that, I mean, your team must suck, and you guys are taking a lot of damage. It, if you don't need it, like, this is a waste of an ability. The 25% trauma is really, really good, but considering some of the melee stuff actually deals with trauma, um, it just increases her trauma resistance. So, yeah, she's a little bit. She's good. She's good. We'll leave it at that. I'm not a big fan of her abilities and everything, but there you have it. That's her. Let's move on to the next one. And up next, we have Prophet Dan. Okay, I have zero experience actually using this guy, so bear with me on this. So he starts off with a deagle and a Scar rifle. And the Scar rifle is actually my second favorite rifle in the game. This thing is absolutely amazing. But let's move on and talk about his abilities. Because his abilities are probably the most whacked out of all the characters. And in fact, he doesn't even have a stat. You can see right here, he does not come with his own stat. Okay, so Prophet Dan is enhanced for a short duration after cleaners are incapacitated. Does not tell you exactly what strange things happen after reviving cleaners. So basically, what this actually does is there are several buffs that will be activated upon reviving any other team member. And those, but you have no control. It's a random. From what I have been able to put together, those buffs are also time based, so they only last for so long, and they range from the amount of damage you deal to how fast you can move to your use speed. Like they're all over the board. Like if you name something that you could find useful as a buff, this ability will generate it. Um, yeah, I'm not a big fan of that because it's random. I do not like random. In fact, that's probably one of the major complaints I have about this is the RNG. Anyway, his team effect is +3 team damage resistance and knockback immunity while reviving. Okay, hopefully you're not using this too much. That +3 team damage resistance and knockback immunity is only available while reviving. I see a lot of people say that no, it's permanent. I'm like, no, 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 no. It's while reviving. So unless you've got a teammate that is downed, uh, you're not getting the bonus of this team effect. And then when the teammate gets back up, he gets a random buff, and he's honestly, of all the characters, he's probably the worst. Like, I do not understand why people are in love with this guy. Like, I don't like the idea that his ability is completely random. This team effect is really not all that great, um, because it's a situation specific. It's not a general thing that everybody gets access to. It's a situational specific thing. Now, Mom's revive speed also is, but the revive speed, like getting a teammate back up into the fight even faster, is much better than just simply getting 3 damage resistance and knockback immunity. Effectively, what this means is he can just continuously revive somebody without getting knocked off of them, and then gets a, a measly 3 damage resistance. But I don't understand why they made this character at all. Like, yeah, but that's Dan. Um, this is supposed to be informative and not opinion based. Unfortunately, I'm making a lot of opinions here. But let's move on to probably my new favorite character, Tala. And Tala is my new favorite character for a couple of reasons. One, the bow. When they added the bow in, I was ecstatic. Um, like, I absolutely love the idea of being able to be an archer in this game. This is amazing. But she comes with a bow, and she comes with this one, the Vector submachine gun. Okay, yeah, not a big fan of Vector. I usually get rid of this for something else, possibly an assault rifle or a sniper, depending on how I'm feeling. Uh, the only time I really use a shotgun is with the melee builds. But anyway, that's her starting gear. And let's talk about her abilities, because her abilities are very fun to me. Okay, first off, Tala's attacks cause targets to bleed. Yes, she causes bleed damage to other things that she attacks. This does not include if you accidentally shoot one of your teammates. Um, this is probably, for fighting the bosses, that is probably the most useful ability among all of the cleaners. It is absolutely amazing. And then her second ability, again, notice she does not have a stat increase. Her second ability is Jeff the Friendly Tallboy can be called by anyone with his whistle. What this effectively means is that the whistle is going to spawn on every map. So somewhere in the map is the whistle. The thing about the whistle is you only need one teammate to have it. You do not need multiple of them because you cannot have multiple Jeffs, unfortunately. So having Jeff for horde fights is really next level. Like, I can't say enough about having Jeff on the team. Like, it is amazing. And then her team effect is there's one warp chest and whistle on each map. So somewhere on there is a warp chest that's got really, it's got gear that really you shouldn't be finding till at least a few stages later. I don't we haven't talked about it yet. We'll probably get into that in the weapons and upgrades section because they do a poor job of displaying that. But finding the warp chest with its exclusive loot is absolutely amazing. And by exclusive, I mean you can get legendary items out of there, and you can get higher tier weapons out of there. So if we went into like stage 1 and we opened up a crate, it would probably give us like anywhere from green to blue items dropping out of it. So maybe you got a blue shotgun on level 1. That is just absolutely insane. The thing about the warp chest, though, please, please, please do not open those without a toolkit. The warp chest comes, it's a double-edged sword. If you open those without a toolkit, it is going to give the entire team some kind of debuff. And those debuffs range in severity. The two that I hate seeing the most is sticky, which slows your movement speed down considerably. And I forget the name of the other one, but it's stamina based. So your stamina, anything that requires you to use stamina, such as using the bow, a melee weapon, or even running, is severely diminished. So if I'm running around as tall with a bow and you open up the warp chest and we get the stamina one, I'm going to be hurting because I'm not going to be able to do that much damage. Same goes for any melee members on our team. Again, I cannot reiterate this enough. Do not open the warp chest without a toolkit. It is the most annoying thing. And if you don't have a toolkit and you can make it back to the warp chest, wait until you've got the level completed. Like, once you get to the point where you can run all the way back to that warp chest and then run back and just finish the level, don't open it. I have done this a few times where I've completed the entire level, gone back to the warp chest, and then opened it. But for the love of God, if you're in the middle of a match, don't open it. Either wait till you find a toolkit or wait till the map is basically over. Or just don't open it. Yeah, that's my little rant about that. But yeah, that's all the characters, and I hope you guys enjoyed this little breakdown of these characters. Again, because of the way the characters have abilities, they have stats, and then they have a team-based stat. I really need to reiterate that you need to think of this game more like Borderlands. You wouldn't take a level 1 character with the starter deck to Nightmare. That would be the equivalent of taking that level 1 Borderlands character up to the level 60 starting area. Or difficulty. And if you know what I'm talking about, Borderlands is broken down into difficulties, and you cannot go to the next difficulty until you've beaten the previous one. I wish they would have done that in Back 4 Blood, because I've seen way too many newbies think that, oh, this is just Call of Duty Zombies. I can jump in and play on Nightmare and be good. And then they get killed immediately and start whining about how hard the game is. Trust me on that. Don't do it. If you're a newbie, play on Recruit till you have all the cards unlocked. You can build a decent deck. Then play on Veteran. Try to work out the kinks in those decks. Then go up to Nightmare. And once you've become pro, maybe you can try No Hope. I'm not pro. I haven't tried No Hope. I'm not dumb enough to try it yet. I'm still struggling on Nightmare. But yeah, that's it. That's all the characters breakdown. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one. And I think in the next one, we are going to talk about cards and decks. I'm not going to say too much about these, but we'll save that for the next episode. That's all I got for you guys. Take care and goodbye.